Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Rage and welcome back to my channel. Yes, I am back on YouTube. It's been quite a while, but I was having some issues with my YouTube account as well as some personal life issues, but some of those have been resolved and I am now back on YouTube. I want to give a quick shout out to M64 Bros, as well as Reptile King Gaming, if he still even is on YouTube, but yeah. So, I haven't done a console review in quite a while, but I will have a review coming for both Xbox Series X and PS5 in a couple of days. So, yeah, but this is going to be my first console review, and yeah, so let's talk about the Xbox Series S. So, is this console worth it in 2022 or 2023, because 2022 is coming to a close? So in 2023, is the Xbox Series S worth it in 2023? And that's what I'm here to tell you guys. So in my personal experience with the Series S, I have experienced a lot of good and some bad things as well. Obviously it's not going to be perfect. Let's talk about the goods first. So the first good thing, and this is kind of personal, but one thing that I specifically love about the Series S is its size. Like, I thought the Series X was kind of small, but this thing is only like a couple inches bigger than a Nintendo Switch console, which is insane. Like, this literally is the smallest Xbox ever made. Like, it makes me wonder if Microsoft is ever going to make an actual portable console later on in the future, because this thing is small as hell. It's also pretty cute, too, because you can literally stick this thing anywhere. You could put it under your TV stand. I mean, look, I have a giant-ass flat screen, and this thing fits perfectly right under it. So, I put it, like, right under here next to my TV, and it doesn't even take up much space. So, the first great thing about the Series S is, honestly, the size. The size of this console is amazing. I mean, I'm small and scrawny, but I could pick this thing up with my one hand. So, it's very, very small. It's very, very light. It's definitely a good little console. It's definitely a good little console for I mean, some people say that this thing is for casuals only, but that's not true, all right? If it's an Xbox, it has the same games as the Xbox Series X. So this console is definitely worth it for you if you just want to play games. Like, if you don't really care about exclusives like Sony ponies or my Game Pass like Xbox fanboys, you just want to, play some games, have a console to enjoy. Like, the Series S is definitely worth the buy, because as you guys know, this thing is also very, very it's a good budget console as well, because as you guys know, this thing is literally only $300. This thing is the same price as a Nintendo Switch. So the price of the console is also what makes it so good. But again, man, that size, I mean, look how small this thing is. Like, it is so small. If I take out my Nintendo Switch over here, it's only like a couple inches bigger than my Nintendo Switch. So you look at that, like look, this thing is almost the same size as a Nintendo Switch. I mean, if I had a Nintendo Switch OLED to compare, I would do that. But anyways, the size of the console, that's the first thing I specifically like about it. Maybe you do too. I mean, who doesn't like a small little console though? I mean, you see, another great thing about the Series S is it's a good second console. Or it's like, if you have PC, then why even have an Xbox? But like, if you're a console gamer and you have like an Xbox Series X, or maybe you have a PS5, like, let's say you have a PS5, but you also want to get Game Pass and you want to play some of Xbox's games, since Microsoft owns Bethesda and hopefully Activision soon. Like, if you like, this is also, it's a good companion console. To me it is, because it's small and it's affordable. Like, if you're just someone who wants to play Xbox, or you just want to, like, I don't know, maybe you want to play backwards compatible games, or maybe you just want to play Game Pass, or maybe you just want to play Bethesda's games, or I mean, well, let's be honest, who wants to play Microsoft's games though? Halo, Gears of War, no one wants to play that crap. But yeah, so if you have like a PS5 already, this is a good second console. I mean, if you have a Series X, there's no reason to buy this thing though if you already have a Series X. But anyways, next thing I want to talk about is the performance. Now, the Series S is very underpowered compared to the Xbox Series X, but despite that, next-gen games still run decently well on this console. Yeah, the visuals and the frame rate is not going to be like as strong as it is on Series X. Like, you may not get the constant 120 FPS You may not get visuals all the time. Like, sometimes you may get some, visual drops, but, for the most part, that's okay because, this console is a budget console. I mean, this console is for those who desperately want to play next-gen games, or it's for people who just want to play video games in general. So maybe this is for casual gamers. I don't know. I mean, I don't really believe in casual or hardcores, to be honest. I mean, I don't believe that crap, but yeah. So for the most part, this is a decent next gen console because Series X games or next gen games in general do run decently well on the Series S. And sometimes they almost look the same as they do on the Series X because, again, this console is powerful. This is a powerful console. It's just not as strong as PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X or a $500 gaming PC. But it's still a decently strong console. So if you're someone who literally just wants to play games and you just want to play Game Pass or, whatever, like if you just want to play games, the console is definitely worth it. But like I said, though, if you're like a graphics junkie or a frame rate junkie and you only care about frame rate and visuals, then maybe not. I mean, personally, everyone everyone knows that graphics don't make a game, and neither does a constant 120 FPS. The games still run fantastically well on this console, both next gen games and Xbox One games. They all run perfectly fine on this console, and they still look great on the console as well. So. And again, like I said, if you have a PlayStation 5, I actually do recommend the Xbox Series S over the Series X because you already got a PS5, which is a powerful console. But are you really going to pay $500 for a Series X now just to play Microsoft's games or Bethesda's games in 2023? I don't think so. So again, if you have a PS5, I would 100% recommend the Series S. But even if you don't have a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, I still do recommend the Xbox Series S because, it's a decent little console. Don't listen to people who say that it's bad because it's underpowered or it's bad because it doesn't have a disc drive. Yes, it not having a disc drive definitely sucks, but there's also a digital edition PS5, so, it's like I never really cared about physical media, to be honest, so I can't really give my opinion on those things. I mean, I like digital anyway, so, we'll talk about the problems in a second, but again, just like an Xbox Series X, this console also has all of Xbox's features. You've got the web browser, you've got the built-in Microsoft Edge, you've got apps, you could buy movies on the Microsoft Store. So this console actually comes jam-packed with a lot of little things because, as you guys may or may not know, if you're new to Xbox and you're about to get a Series S or maybe you want one for Christmas, here's what you're gonna get. You're going to be able to play Series X games, Series X and S games. You're going to be able to play Xbox One games, pretty much every Xbox One game ever, and you are going to be able to play Xbox 360 games. So when you buy the Xbox Series S, you're basically getting a next-gen console with the ability to also play last gen, which is of course Xbox One and Xbox 360 as well. So the value for the Xbox Series S is pretty damn good because yes, the console is underpowered. Yes, it's not as strong as PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, but it's still a decent little console. And it's even better if you already do have that PS5. But again, the value is good because you get Xbox One games, you get next gen games that do run decently well. You get 360 games, you get Xbox Game Pass, which is one of the reasons why people even buy Xbox in the first place, so you get that, obviously. And you also get plenty of apps, and you got movies to buy on the Microsoft Store as well. And, of course, you get the built-in web browser, I mean, that's pretty much it for now, but, those features are pretty damn good. Those features are good. And, of course, you get the Series S controller. Now, you guys already know how I feel about these controllers. I cannot stand the Xbox Series X and S controller. I made a video talking about how much I hate this thing, but the reason why I hate it is because I just wanted a more improved controller. I mean, yes, this controller is definitely an improvement from the Xbox One controller, but it's still too similar to me. There's literally no different. It still takes a battery pack. There's no unique features on it. I mean, the only somewhat unique feature is that it has better textures. Wow, no adaptive triggers, no voice inside, no mic. Wow, real nice, Microsoft. Anyways, so yeah, controller's the same. I mean, if you don't really care about the controller, you just, like, again, if you just want to play games and the controller is just fine, just prepare to buy those AA batteries or a rechargeable battery pack, or just use your phone charger if that's not too less convenient for you. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the positives. So let's talk about the negatives, because unfortunately the Series S does have quite a few negatives. Now, remember when I said that I don't care too much about physical media? Well, I was kind of wrong myself, because it's definitely annoying how the Series S doesn't have a disk drive, because I feel like Microsoft kind of downgraded this thing a little too much. Like, not only is it underpowered compared to the Series X, but then they applied all these other downgrades to it. Like, it doesn't have a disk drive, and we'll talk about the next problem in a bit. Maybe you already know what the next problem is yourself, if you know about this thing. But as you guys can see here, I have an old copy of Left 4 Dead 2, and I have a bunch of DVDs and Blu-rays in my closet, and I cannot use them on my Series S because there's no disk drive. And, Microsoft is kind of pushing the whole digital thing because, Game Pass and, all their digital sales. I mean, we'll talk about Game Pass in the next video, because I actually have a video I have a video planned for Game Pass, and we'll talk about Game Pass in my next video. But Microsoft is really not too fond of physical media because, why else would they remove this thing's disk drive? And it is very, very annoying because, like, like, let's say you buy this thing and you have like some Xbox One games or Xbox 360 games lying around. It would be, a huge money saver if you brought this console, subscribed to Game Pass, and you had a couple of old Xbox CDs lying around that you could play on here, because Xbox Series X and S do play 360 games and Xbox One games. But the fact that this thing doesn't even have a disk drive is definitely pretty damn annoying. I mean, thankfully I already own Left 4 Dead digitally on my Xbox account, but it's still annoying because, like, I'm sure everyone owns this gem over here, this masterpiece, and I'm sure everyone has their own Xbox games lying around, because not everyone has switched to digital yet. If you buy an Xbox Series S, you are not going to be able to play your CDs, which is definitely very annoying. Now let's talk about the next problem, and this problem actually is pretty bad. So the next problem with the Series S is its storage capacity. This console's storage capacity is terrible. I said it was good that the console was small, but it is definitely not good that its storage capacity is also pretty damn small. Alright, this thing has as many gigabytes as much as I have brain cells. This thing only has 360 gigabytes of storage. That's it. That's all you're going to get. And when you update the console, you'll actually lose some of that storage as well. So you have like 300 GB left of storage, so you're not going to be able to download a lot of games on this console. And that actually kind of defeats the purpose of how cheap this console is, because you spend $300 on the console, but if you want to play next-gen games only, you're not going to be able to download a lot of them. I mean, games like Cyberpunk, not that anyone's going to play Cyberpunk, but, like, next-gen games are obviously very big. Like, some next-gen games take, like, over 100 gigabytes of storage. So you could buy an Xbox Series S, you'll buy a next-gen game, and it'll take half your storage already, and you can only buy, like, a couple of next-gen games, and that's definitely very annoying. And not only that, but Microsoft is constantly advertising their Game Pass, and yet their budget console, Xbox Series S, doesn't even have enough storage for you to play all of those games on Game Pass, unless you just download a couple of games and delete the ones you don't want anymore, which is just inconvenient. So the storage for this console is absolutely terrible. And again, like I said earlier, it defeats the purpose of how cheap this console is, because if you want to play a lot of next-gen games, I mean, that's probably why you're buying this thing in the first place, to play next-gen games. Obviously, it's a next-gen console. An external SSD for Xbox is actually pretty expensive. And this is actually something I've always hated about Xbox. The Seagate external SSD for Xbox, for a 512 gigabyte external SSD, I believe it is around $150, I think. And for a 1 terabyte, it's $213. So, to be honest, you buy an Xbox Series S for $300, and then if you want a 1 terabyte external SSD, which is $200, you're basically paying $500. You might as well just buy an Xbox Series X, which comes with way more storage and is also way more powerful than the Series S. Because don't forget, the Series S has 6 teraflops, the Series X has 12 teraflops. So, although I said the Xbox Series S still plays next gen games decently well, remember I said decently well. The Series X is still a better console, obviously, but with this storage problem, it just makes the Series S even less worth of a buy because you just gotta spend so much money on that extra storage. So unless you have an external HDD lying around, that's still not gonna help too much. I mean, sure, if you have an external HDD, you could download Xbox One and Xbox 360 games, but you brought a next-gen console for Xbox One games? Like, come on now. I mean, I use my Xbox Series X for Xbox One and Series X games, but with this, if you have an external HDD lying around, you'll be able to play your Xbox One games, but you're not going to be able to play your Series X and S games. So I think the storage capacity for this console is actually terrible. Microsoft should have actually put more storage in the Series S than they did with the Series X, because this is supposed to be a budget console. But now you're going to make people go out and spend $200, maybe more, on an external SSD to play next-gen Series S and X games? I don't think so, Microsoft. That's terrible. So yeah, but besides the storage problem and the slightly below average next gen performance, because the next gen performance is average. It's not as good as Series X. Besides all that, the Series S is still a decent console. You're still going to be able to play games. You're still going to be able to play next-gen games, as long as you spend $200 on an external SSD, because let's be honest, a 512 gigabyte external SSD is not enough. That's definitely not enough, because next-gen games are huge. So Microsoft is actually kind of greedy, not going to lie. I'll probably have a video about that coming later on today, but yeah, so the Series S, I give this console a 7 out of 10. It's definitely a decent console. It's got nothing on PS5 or the Series X, but hey, it's still better than Nintendo Switch. Like if you're coming from Nintendo Switch, like if you used to play on Nintendo Switch, you're gonna love this thing even more, especially since it's actually the same price as a Nintendo Switch. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this console review. I know I did. This is going to be this was my first console review of the final month of the year. Again, I will have some more console reviews coming later on, because hey, it's Christmas. I gotta make these for you guys, so to decide which console you want for Christmas, maybe which console you're gonna buy for your kids or whatever, your partner or whatever. If you're a parent and you want to get your kid a gaming console, another great reason to buy the Series S, because there's a lot of great games on there, cheap. So yeah, Series S, decent console. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it for y'all, and if you made it till the end, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in my next console or game review or discussion video, whatever. But this was Mr. Rage, and I will see you guys later on today. Bye bye.